Y'all thought we were gonna go away. They sure did. I'm saying, Joe, I couldn't wake up. Look at my email. Yeah. You know my routine in the morning. Check my email. Eat my Starbucks. I don't like Dunkin'. Mary had an incident at Dunkin'. She don't like them no more. I sure don't. I don't. The establishment. I know it's many Dunkins out there, and some of them got better customer service that other than what I deal with. But I like Starbucks. So my routine is get myself together, play some good gospel, and read my email. And I tell you, since the last Joe Show podcast, I done got thousands of emails. Y'all ain't gonna do the Joe Show. I'm tired of Jazz Mall. We never said we was gonna cancel this. No, we're not. We ain't gonna cancel this. Okay, alright, babies, we back. We back. Okay. On this special podcast, we gonna have my ex-wife. This is gonna be so different. Mrs. Joe. Hi. Hey there. We gonna talk about her career in XTV. This ain't never been done before. I got my ex-wife and we talking about her legacy in XTV. Now, first, I want to just put your little details for folk that don't know about her, various ventures in XTV West. That's great, Joe. She came in around 97, and she did the Donkey Kong 2 show. She was in that, and doing the whole Pain and Donkey Kong franchise. That was big. So that had side projects and things like that. Followed, and after that, she just maintained her role in XTV, and eventually a lot of things changed. That's all I'm gonna say. We still each other exactly. I call her every day. We go to church every Sunday religiously, so it ain't no beef, and that's why we doing this podcast, so we can show y'all, it ain't no issues, alright? Because a lot of the older folk in XTV, the older fans say, oh, Grandpa Joe and Miss Joe don't get along. He married to Mary May. Now they hate. It ain't no bitterness in my heart either. It ain't none of that here. Okay, that's probably somewhere yonder. Beef don't exist here, okay? We eat cheddar cheese and macaroni. But other than that, everything is good. So I first want to, I want you to tell your part and how we met, and I'll tell my part. Okay. Well, I met Joe. He was working at the steel mill company, and at the time I was a realtor, and I guess he was buying a house at the time, and we just started talking about small things and just miscellaneous things, the walls, and I guess it was just the best of both worlds. I mean, I was raised quite different from Joe. I was raised more of a Caucasian upbringing. That's the washer. Y'all forgive us in advance. The dryer, that is. Y'all forgive us in advance. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Baby. But yeah, we talked about. I grew up in a very Caucasian background. Not that we were racist or anything. It was just a very suburban area, and we didn't know about other cultures, except our own. We didn't really know about it. And when I met Joe, it's just his accent was so different, and the way he would talk about things. He would say it's so simple, but I could get him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. The whole thing to me is opposites attract. Yes. And we was completely opposite. I'm cussing and all that, being how I was, and she was more of a positive upbringing, and she helped me through a lot of the tough, difficult times I had in my life. She helped me through, I gotta say that. But go ahead, baby. Baby. Yeah, and we just hit it off immediately. We eventually had children, and that Payne and D-Matic were born, uh, their parents, of course, passed away when they were really young. It was just a dispute, you know. You want to go into this? Oh, it's just real tough to go into. Let's just say that the dispute was over a card game. Now, I love my children to death, but at this point in their life, they just really had issues, you know. My son was a drug dealer, and my daughter was Payne's mom was a drug user. And, you know, it didn't used to be like that at first. What happened was I had to downsize. We moved, like when I met her, she was a realtor. I was getting my first house. And when the business wasn't doing that well, we had to go and move. And money wasn't coming in, and didn't me and you lose our job at the same time? Yes, exactly. We both kind of lost our jobs at the same time. He lost his at a steel mill, and you know, the realtor business was very, you know, funny back then. Everybody was trying to take their spot and take your spot, and it was a clawing game. Everybody clawing to get to the top, you know, and eventually, hold on. And eventually I just became frustrated with it, you know, and I'd rather do something I like. And, you know, I guess I upset a lot of the managers because I was just like, nobody's ever going to grow because there's always somebody clawing at your ass, you know. And I, of course, sweared, and you know, that was a big no-no in their eyes, and they didn't like that, and as a result they let me go. I was there for like 2 years, but you know, I felt like I actually remember smiling once they said I was fired, because I was just so over that company. But my mother, God bless her soul, she was always, don't let them, you know, don't quit on them. They want you to quit. Don't quit on them, you know. And she was just always telling me, don't quit. And you know, I never quit, but they let me go. And it was the best thing because me and Joe, we lived in the same house at this point, and you know, we really enjoyed each other. Yeah, she just was so, she just had this, you see, like she was saying at the beginning, she had a very Caucasian, like, you know, suburban upbringing. I had a, you know, ghetto upbringing. You know, and so it was the best of both worlds. She seen something she ain't know. I seen something I ain't know. So we both was getting something out of each other. You know what I mean? We both were learning. I was learning how to be more professional. I was learning to not cuss as much dealing with this woman now. And she was learning, oh, it's the other side to the world. It ain't just this whole, and I'm not insulting nobody in a suburban area, but the uppity type of, you know, it ain't just that, ain't the only part that exists. There's people out here that speak in 2-cent words. And, you know, it mean a lot, but it's just a small word, you know what I mean? So that's how we got it. But we was trying to get to the you see how I'm jumping around it. I understand, Joe. That's why I asked if you wanted to talk about it. Yeah, they just, you know, my children, once we had them, they just we had them when we got into a bad spot. You know, we both lost our job. Now she's pregnant, and we had our children, and you know, they grew up on the wrong side because when we had to downsize, we had to move to the hood. You know, it was the only way it would work. That was the only people that were willing to take us. And he was a drug dealer. You know, the girl he chose was a drug user. And as a result, of course, they quarreled. Of course, things, you know, didn't go right. And, you know, eventually, over a card game, they both was gunned down. Payne and Trunks was like super young at this point. So, you know, that happened, and as a result, you know, they don't have their mom and dad. But yeah. And I mean, me and Joe just hit it off. We were really close. Now we were grandchildren, you know, because they had their, I think they had pain in them. When did they have them? Probably around the 60s. But moving ahead, because you know this is a big story to tell y'all. The stuff prior to XTV is just so much. It's so full. Yeah, we have a full life. But let's go on to the Donkey Kong too. Let's get to the career part of your life. We'll probably talk about our early life some other time. Because like I said, that's gonna be like 2 hours. Yeah. Because Mary May, you know about us. Yeah. I remember y'all way back then, Joe. But so back in '97, you was on a Donkey Kong show. Yes. You was their teacher and the grandmother. Oh, yeah. It was so enjoyable. Let me tell you, Dee and Dixie, they just were so adorable to me, and you know, they just felt like kids that could do no wrong. I mean, as Joe just said, we had children that were, you know, one was a drug dealer, and you know, all the different things that we dealt with our family and stuff like that. Now here we are. We have kids that are, you know, not getting involved in the street, and we wanted to lure them into the right path. And you know, Joe's approach was more strict. I'm gonna beat your butt, and me, I was just more caring and more like, let me help you, baby. Let me give you a hug, you know. And we quarreled sometimes, but we understood that is the mother and father dynamic. Exactly. The father is the person that's gonna beat your ass. The mom is gonna tell you why you got your ass beat. That's the difference, all right? And so I just loved working with them. I loved the set. I loved the new ideas they would come up with. You know, it was just so cute. You know, a lot of people actually go back and kind of insult this era in XTV as far as the, you know, the kiddie era, whatever they want to call it. But at the time, it's just more cute. You know what I mean? It's innocent. And when something's that is innocent, it's just most beautiful. You know what I mean? A lot of times when XTV, when it got to the dark area, it got very ugly a lot of times, you know, because people were dealing with real hurt, real emotions. And although they were able to express that, you know, through their words and through their actions, it still was very ugly from where it was coming from. You know, it was dark. Hearing Dixie talk about suicide, that's very dark. That's a dark subject. But going back to the innocence of XTV, you see them just being loving, just being caring, you know. And it might be, people call it, oh, they did stupid songs, but it's coming from an innocent, happy place. You know what I mean? And it gave you more joy. And that's what I remember most about it, is just watching two of my grandchildren giving joy. And I used to have a smile on my face. You, Joe, on the other hand, I was so strict. I was like, you better go out there and perform good. He was. You better go out there and don't show your tail out there. I'll tear your ass up. Still will, too. He will. He will. So I enjoyed the success. You know, a lot of episodes we didn't record it. It wasn't documented. But I think what we capture most from that, what I capture most, is the feeling that we had. And the feeling was quite positive. So what's your opinion on our kids? You know, we done had them. What is your opinion? What's your look? It's very crazy to me. As we said, we tried to lure them into the right path, and you know, it was really looking that way. They got a TV show, and I always felt, even though they had a TV show, they were putting out innocent material. I felt like success was happening too fast. Excuse me. And too fast is never good. You know what I mean? Slow and steady. That's how I've always just felt with certain things. When it's that fast, I feel like something can go wrong. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing there to say, let's calm down and let's really figure this out. It's just going. And you know, with that, I tried to talk to Joe about it, but he was like, look, we're successful. Let's not stop this. We're successful. And that was his argument all the time. me, I'm just like, it should slow down. And, you know, of course, Payne eventually got on drugs, later Dematic, you know, and there were children that we were trying to not raise, you know, how their father and mother was. We were trying to raise them in the right path. And I think Big Trunks actually became a drug dealer at one time, in '07 actually, you know, and that was just the path we were trying to steer them away from. Dixie became gothic on the suicidal thing and all that, you know. And I just felt like it got to a point where I felt like I failed them, especially Dixie, because me and Dixie were the closest out of both of Dematic and Payne. We were the closest because when Payne and Dematic got popular, it was just me and Dixie. And, you know, we used to always talk and always get along really well, you know. And I ain't never had no trouble with Dixie. No, you didn't. I ain't never had no trouble with her because she didn't have a big mouth or nothing. It wasn't till that gothic thing came in and that suicidal stuff. Sorry about the dry again. It wasn't till that came into the picture where it started to be issues and we started to have problems until that came up. But that's for obvious reasons. So yeah, we were getting along quite well, and you know, like I said, the success was so fast, and once Gambling Kong came into the picture and all these other things and other families started coming, and Joe, you were just letting them in left and right. Yeah, I was letting them in. Just come on in, fam, you know. I just felt like, you know, my dad always taught me at a young age, he say, son, let me tell you something. If you find you a boat with $1 million or a pot with $1 million, you better give thousands to each family member. You know what I mean? Don't you ever think that you too successful to not do for your family. Because let me tell you, it's gonna come a point where you be on your butt, you be down, and you gonna want somebody to open the door for you. So when you got the door to open that door for family. Don't open it for no stranger. They ain't gonna come in but take something that belong to you that ain't theirs. Give it to somebody that need it. So I was just always under that impression, you know, give back to my family. That was the tradition of my family, my upbringing. It was just always give back, because when I was on my butt before the steel mill company, Cousin Ray let me live with him. Cousin, what's her name? Shit. Cousin Blatch. She would let me live with her. And her bad behind children. I remember Darain and Eric Ezel Johnson. I remember him. We had to live with them, but they allowed us. They say, oh, y'all hurting? Come on in. And there would be a house full of people looking just like us. You know what I mean? You ain't questioning who coming in and not, because you know it's family. You know what I mean? You know it's family. So you ain't like, who is this? Who is that? Why they doing? You know who everybody is. And the fact that they was that open, you know, you had to pay money, of course, to live there. But at the end of the day, it was family and you was protected. So coming up under that type of guidance, the year is 2000. I got a lot of money. I'm successful. I want my family to have this. And you know, that's why I invited so many family members. But sometimes family members can be strangers that want to take too. And as a result, we had to deal with that. And I tried to just say it's family. But then it got to the point where I said, who is that nigga? I just, you know, and me, I again, the fast success and seeing this come so quick, I just had a feeling something just wasn't right. You know what I mean? Just something just always seemed a little off about them when they came here, Gambling Kong and, you know, his niece, and There was fights. Yes, it was. There was a lot of fight, a lot of quarrels. So, yeah, but the thing is, like I said, with me and Dixie, we were always close. And the Donkey Kong 2 show popped off in '97, and it was a big success for XTV West. So it got to a point where, I wasn't able to be in Dixie's life as much because she blew up so fast. And, I started to just do a bunch of things. And next thing you know, I'm at home. XTV is changing, XTV West. And now Dixie is a goth. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, whoa, what is this? And I was taken aback by it because I raised these kids up, have a cookie, and I raised them up right. Why is she dealing with this dark stuff? Where's this all coming from? And I took it to heart, and as a result, I lost my damn mind. Joe, I got a question. When she started to do the prostitution thing, because that's what we about to jump into. When she started doing that, like y'all super successful. All right, the Donkey Kong show ain't even the old episodes airing, and that's what's making y'all remain popular, even though it's off the air. How did you feel about her doing the prostitution thing? I was just confused. I wanted to support her. Hold on. Support her no matter what. No matter what. I was just going to support my wife. And, I just wanted to be there for her. But it got to a point where it became, what am I supporting? And I think when she went monster, that's when it was like, okay, that's it. I can't take it no more. But the organization. Oh, you're talking about F Virgins. Yes. When that happened, I lost my mind. I was like, what is she doing? And I remember getting on the radio saying, why are you messing with them? Leave them Virgins alone. Yeah, I remember saying that. I say, how you gonna come up with a club and Well, Joe, I guess that's the difference though, at that point, because the difference is I think that a lot of people really are hurting because they're virgins. You know what I mean? A scenario is someone, it could be a he, it could be a she, it could be a thing, or whatever, walks in the world feeling alone, feeling abandoned, you know what I mean? And don't have enough confidence to talk to a woman, because a lot of women sometimes are very, stuck in their feelings and thinking they're such and such, and maybe dudes are the same, and when you walk in a world like that and you just get afraid to talk to females because you think they're all the same because you deal with so many women that are like that, you know what I mean, combative and very just antisocial, like rude. And I think that some people just really need to be laid. You know what I mean? Some people just need some ass. And some people just need to be loved down. You know what I mean? It's only so much words can do. You can say, I love you, you'll be okay. You can say that till people turn blue. But once they turn blue, what does that mean? They're dead. You know what I mean? So those words didn't work. They didn't manifest. So sometimes you have to use actions. And I'm a very action-oriented type of person. And when I came up with that, that's just what I was into. I was into people like really come, just open yourself up to this. You know what I mean? A lot of people have not had sex, and I think that that's what people's problems is. When they get angry, they get mad, they kill themselves. You know what I mean? Because they think that is something wrong with them. They think they're this ugly, disfigured, mutated type of being, and everybody is beautiful, but they feel like they're not beautiful enough to make love. Oh wait, let's see. But that's just how I feel when it all breaks down. Just if certain people can have babies, anybody can. You know, and that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel, you know. And I understand it in that context. But at the end of the day, I think that some people I think they need more confidence. You know, it's like you said, baby. You said ex, baby. You said words can only do so much. That's because you ain't supposed to use words a lot of time. You're supposed to show people. You know what I mean? It's words and showing people things. You got to show people the true I was about to say gangster. True, you know what I mean, human being potential that somebody has. You have to show it to them. You know what I mean? And you do that by just guiding them through. Like, what do you like? Who are you? And when they show you who they are, they be like, oh, I didn't know that about myself. You know, maybe I should touch into this more. And they touch into that and they touch into that. It's like climbing a ladder. And as a result, you know, you have a lot of people that finally come out of that funk. Some people don't now. Some people do not come out that funk. You can't save everybody. Because some people want to be hurt. Some people want to be broken. You can't save the people that want to be broken. They don't break. You know, and that's just how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I don't feel like you gotta have sex with them, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. You know, I also, yeah, I understand we disagree. We agree to disagree, but I just look at it like, you know, I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Shit. The thing is, sex is a very taboo subject still in 2016. You know what I mean? And I think that's just what it is with a lot of people. It's like sex, you know, that's gross, it's nasty, you know, it's kept indoors. You know, we were the first group to come out and say, yeah, you need it. You know what I mean? Get it. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like a prostitution ring or anything. It was just like, we understand. You know, it sounds like it, but at the end of the day, you know, it's like Match.com, except it's really, we take it there. And that's one thing, that's why I love XTV West, because they're more of accepting of things that really want to take it there. F Virgins really wanted to take it there with what our opinion was. You know, and that's what we did with it. And it caused a lot of controversy, as a lot of people may know. But at the end of the day, that's just how we got it done. And we actually saved a lot of lives. I had so many young people, Joe, older people, you know, people in their 70s. You know, a guy says, yeah, you know, I just sat there my whole life trying to find the right one. And, you know, I remember he told me this story. He says, you know, one thing that I've found through my 70 years of life is true hate. I have not found true love yet. I found true hate. I found a lot of people that hate me. A lot of women that I thought really wanted me, then they wind up using me. And, you know, now here I am, 70 years old, and, you know, I haven't had a woman, you know, that I could get serious with because all of them treated me a certain kind of way. And, you know, he's 70 years old at this point. And, you know, we had a girl, you know, eventually help him out, you know, and a 70-year-old virgin, you know, and he was okay after that. And he probably has passed on since. It was like 2007. But that's something we were able to save, you know what I mean? Somebody that never thought that they were attractive enough or they were good enough to have, you know, intercourse with somebody else. As I said, it's very taboo to talk about sex. You know, it just sounds, because of the way media portrays it. It portrays it as something so, that's gross, that's nasty, when really it's just normal. You know, it's how we exist. And it's a whole science behind it. It's a whole story behind it. It's not just what it looks like on the surface. You know, and we caused controversy because we didn't care who we ran into. We didn't care who wanted it. You know, we know people needed it, though. That's just what it was all about, saving lives. As you said, we agree to disagree. We agree to disagree. I just, again, you know, I'm glad you saved a 70-year-old virgin. I'm glad he saved. I'm glad he had something before life got taken from him. But at the end of the day, I just believe that some people want to be hurt. I believe that they desire to be hurt. You know, you can't go that long without getting somebody to me. You have to have confidence. You have to believe in yourself. You have to ignore it. You got to understand the devil controlled by 50% of the world. God control the whole thing, though. You know what I mean? I said that wrong, but you know what I mean. Shut up. I just believe that, God is in control of this whole world, but the devil, he pop up here and there through this person, through that, through this washer that was making all that noise, probably fucked up the audio. He is all over the place. But what you gotta remember is God is everything. God is all. And when you have that, you have the world in your hand. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. But as you said, we agree to disagree. Now we gonna cut this short. Y'all probably like, I ain't gonna cut it short. Tomorrow we gonna continue the rest of this, and we actually gonna go back, yes, into how we met into the early parts of our life. We gonna go a little more in depth. This is just to show y'all we still here, and we just also wanna say that this is gonna be the last recording of a podcast for a little while now, cause we gonna upload these on YouTube, and Jazz Mars gonna be a part of it. It's gonna be a whole bundle pack. Jazz Mars podcast, my podcast, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff being uploaded. So this is gonna be the last one we upload. Actually, I'm not sure when all these gonna be done uploaded, but whenever that's all done, we gonna be back. Excuse me. But tomorrow, when we continue this story, yeah. Peace out.